So we are now discussing the Revised Penal Code of Article 246 or also known as parricide. So ano nga ba ang parricide? Ang parricide ay isang crime kung saan ang accused ay pinatay niya ang kanyang tunay na anak na ama, ina, anak o anak sa labas at legal na asawa at ang other descendant or ascendant. So I have three examples of parricide. Example number 1 is pinatay ni Jerome ang kanyang tatay. And example number 2 naman is pinatay ng tatay ang kanyang anak na si Jerome. And example number 3 naman is pinatay ng tatay ang kanyang anak na si Juan na isang anak sa labas. And, and the last is pinatay ni Juan ang kanyang asawa. So we are now in elements of parricide. Number 1, that a person is killed. The deceased is killed by the accused. 3. The father, mother, or child, whether legitimate or illegitimate. Letter B. A legitimate other ascendant or descendant. C. Legitimate spouse of the accused. Number 1. That a person is killed. Kung yung person is pinatay. Number 2. The deceased is killed by the accused. Kung ang namatay ay pinatay ng accused. Number 3. The deceased, the father, mother, or child, whether legitimate or illegitimate. So ang parricide is nakabase sa relasyon ng dugo ng accused at ng kanyang pinatay. Hindi naman matatawag na parricide ang pagpatay if ampon ang pinatay or ang pagpatay sa isang stepfather or stepmother or stepson or stepdaughter. So ano nga ba ang penalty sa parricide? Kung napatunayan na ikaw ay nagkasala nito, ang penalty mo is habang buhay na pagkakabilanggo. So are we now discussing naman sa article number 247, Revised Penal Code, or death or physical injuries inflicted under exceptional circumstances. Article number 247. It is a rule which states that any legal married person who having surprised his spouse in the act of committing sexual intercourse with another person shall kill any of them, or both of them in the act of or immediately thereafter, or shall inflict upon them any serious physical injury, shall suffer the penalty of destierro. These rules apply also to under the same circumstances parents with respect to their daughters under 18 years of age and their seducer while the daughters are living with their parents. So may dalawang senaryo sa dalawang article na ito. So number 1 is death or physical injuries against the spouse na nahuli sa akto na nakikipagtalik sa iba. Pangalawa is death or physical injuries against the daughter na nahuli sa akto na nakikipagtalik sa seducer niya. Article 247 does not define a crime but grants a privilege or benefit amounting to an exemption from punishment. Thus, the commission of the crime under the situation contemplated would constitute an absolutory. So kung pasok sa article number 247, yung nagawang crime, ang liability ng offender ay destierro. Any person sentenced to destierro shall not be permitted to enter the place or places designated in the sentence nor within the radius therein specified, which shall be not more than 250 and not less than 25 kilometers from the place designated. So ano nga ba ang destierro? Ang destierro ay isang klase ng parusa which she will not be permitted to enter the place or places designated in the sentence. or shall be not more than 250 and not less than 25 kilometers from the place designated. Ito yung punishment na pagbabawalan kang pumunta sa isang place or within or certain distance. Wala itong kulong na mangyayari. So, kung ang act na ginawa mo ay pasok sa Article 247, hindi ka makukulong para mag-apply ang rule na ito. May mga elements na dapat i-present. So, unahin natin yung between spouses. So, number one is the spouses must be legally married. So, kung live-in partner lang kayo, hindi may a-apply ang article na ito. Number two, in the case accused is the husband, he should not have promoted or facilitated the prostitution of his wife, or that the accused spouses had not consented to the infidelity of the other spouse. So, itong second, applicable din ito sa parent and daughter situation. Number three, the accused must have surprised the victim in the act of sexual intercourse. And number four, the accused killed or injured the victim. So let us elaborate further kung ano yung meaning ng surprise sa third element. The surprise must take place in the very act of sexual intercourse, during the criminal conversation, not during the preparatory acts or after the sexual act. In other words, they are caught in the act or naaktuhan sila na ginagawa yung act or nagse-sex sila. And next naman is, at what point must the killing of wounding take place? Number one is during the act itself. Pagka-surprise niya, nakita niya na nagse-sex sila, pinatay niya agad. Pwede yun. Number two, immediately thereafter. Immediately thereafter means that the discovery, escape, pursuit, and the killing must all form part of one continuous act. In the case of People versus Abarca, yung accused dito, pinatay niya yung paramour after 1 hour. 1 hour na yung nakalipas mula nung nakita niya yung asawa niya at paramour na nagse-sex. Bakit hindi niya pinatay agad nung nakita niya? Kasi armado po si paramour during that time. And si accused naman umalis muna para kumuha ng armas niya. Nung nakakuha na siya after 1 hour, doon na niya pinatay yung paramour. Under this case, pasok pa rin ito under the article number 247. Sabi ng the revised penal code, in requiring that the accused shall kill of them or both of them immediately after surprising his spouse in the act of intercourse does not say that he should commit the killing instantly thereafter. It only requires that the death cause be the proximate result of the outrage overwhelming the accused after chancing upon his spouse in the baseless act of infidelity. Sabi ng Supreme Court, the revised penal code, so yung case na nabanggit, siguro wala na siyang nahanap na armas within that period of time. Pero yung galit niya is nandun pa rin. So next, between parent and daughter naman. So may tatlong requirement upang mag-apply yung rule under Article 247 in case of the parent and the daughter. So number one is offender is a parent. Number two, the daughter is living with the parent. 3. The daughter is under 18 years of age. Sa number 2, so kung hindi nakatira sa'yo yung anak mong babae at nakita mo siya with the act of intersexual course sa ibang bahay, pag pinatay mo siya or yung katalik niya, hindi applicable itong article number 247 sa'yo. Sa number 3 naman is, the daughter is under 18 years of age. So sa number 3, minor. Di ba sabi natin kanina na itong article 247 ay hindi considered crime. So ang ipafile sa offender if there is death, ang ipafile is parricide, murder, or homicide. Parricide sa asawa at anak na pinatay. Murder or homicide depending on circumstances naman sa paramour or sa seducer. Pero ang penalty, as mentioned while ago, is destierro. Hindi natin susundin yung penalty ng parricide, murder, or homicide. If there is physical injuries naman, depende kung anong type of injuries. For example, kung physical injuries ay serious physical injuries, ang ipafile natin is serious physical injuries. Pero ang penalty din ay destierro, hindi yung penalty ng physical injuries. At kung less serious physical injuries at slight physical injuries naman yung nakomit, walang liability sa offender kasi ang pinaparusahan lang ay serious physical injuries. Basta pasok siya sa Article 247.
Today I will be discussing two important provisions under the Philippine Revised Penal Code, Article 248 on murder and Article 249 on homicide. These two articles deal with unlawful killings, but they differ in terms of severity, and I'll explain the key distinctions, penalties, and provide examples to better understand the difference. Let's begin with Article 248, which defines murder. Under the article, murder is the unlawful killing of a person, but with the presence of qualifying circumstances. These circumstances include: number 1, treachery, where the killing is carried out suddenly and without warning, leaving the victim no opportunity to defend themselves. Number 2, cruelty, where the offender deliberately and inhumanly increases the victim's suffering before causing death. Number 3, evident premeditation, meaning the offender planned the killing in advance. Number 4, superior strength, where the offender uses physical advantage to overpower the victim. Number 5, other circumstances like using weapons, taking advantage of natural disasters, or killing for a prize. The penalty for murder is reclusion temporal in its maximum period to death, which translates to a person sentenced ranging from 17 years and 4 months to 40 years, depending on the presence of aggravating factors. For example, if a person ambushes another from behind and shoots them without warning, it is considered murder due to treachery. If someone ties up their victim, beats them, and then kills them, the crime would be murder because of the cruelty involved. Now let's talk about Article 249, which defines homicide. Homicide is also the unlawful killing of a person, but unlike murder, homicide does not involve any qualifying circumstances. The advance of treachery, cruelty, or other aggravating factors makes it a less severe crime. The penalty for homicide is reclusion temporal, which is imprisonment ranging from 12 years and 1 day to 20 years. For example, if two people get into an argument and in the heat of the moment, one stab the other leading to death, this would be homicide. There were no aggravating circumstances like premeditation or cruelty, so it is qualified as homicide instead of murder. Now let's summarize the key difference between murder and homicide. Number 1, murder involves aggravating or qualifying circumstances such as treachery, cruelty, and evident premeditation, which make the crime more severe. The penalty is harsher, ranging from 17 years and 4 months to 40 years. Number 2, homicide, on the other hand, is a simpler, unlawful killing without these aggravating factors. The penalty is less severe, ranging from 12 years and 1 day to 20 years. Example comparison. A murder would involve a planned attack on someone where the victim had no chance to defend themselves, such as an ambush. A homicide might involve a killing in the heat of the moment during an argument where there was no premeditation or cruelty involved. To conclude, while both murder and homicide involve the unlawful killing of a person, the presence of qualifying circumstances in murder makes it a more severe crime with heavier penalties. Understanding this distinction help us grasp the severity of a crime and the corresponding punishment under Philippine law. Thank you for listening, and I hope this explanation clarifies the difference between murder and homicide.
In this report, I will be discussing Article 250, penalty for frustrated parricide, murder, or homicides. Courts may impose a penalty 2 degrees lower frustrated parricides, murder, or homicide. Courts may impose penalty 3 degrees lower attempted parricides, murder, or homicides. This provision is permissive, not mandatory. Article 250, penalty for frustrated parricide, murder, or homicides. The courts, in view of the facts of the case, may impose upon the person's guilt of the frustrated crime of parricide, murder, or homicides, define and penalize preceding articles, a penalty lower by 1 degree than that which should be imposed under provisions of Article 50, Chan Robles Virtual Law Library. The courts, considering the facts of the case, may likewise reduce by 1 degree the penalty which under Article 51 should be imposed for attempt to commit any such crimes. Frustrated, 1 degree lower than which should be imposed under the provisions of Article 50, while attempted, 1 degree lower than that which should be imposed under Article 51. The court may reduce by 1 degree that which imposed under Article 50, which provides the penalty lower by 1 degree that prescribed by law for the consummated felony in case frustrated felony. Thus, courts may impose penalty 2 degrees lower for frustrated parricide, murder, or homicides. This permissive and not mandatory. The court may reduce one by one that which imposed under Article 51, which provides the penalty lower by 2 degrees than that prescribed by law and consummated felony in case attempted felony. Courts may impose penalty 3 degrees lower for attempted parricide, murder, or homicides. An attempt on or conspiracy against the life of chief executive, that of any member of his family, or against of any member of his cabinet or any member of his latter family is punishable by death. The reason for this is that prevailing circumstances require that he is the other persons mentioned be given ample protections against lawless elements who may attempt or conspire against their lives, and to make it as a deterrent.
We will be discussing Article 252 or physical injuries inflicted in a tumultuous affray. Under Article 252, physical injuries inflicted in a tumultuous affray is committed when in a tumultuous affray as referred to Article 251, serious physical injuries or less serious physical injuries are inflicted upon the participants thereof, and the person responsible thereof cannot be identified. All those who appear to have used violence upon the person of the offended party are liable. This is similar po sa Article 251. Sa Article 251, death po ang result ng tumultuous affray. Dito sa Article 252, walang death pero may serious physical injuries or less serious physical injuries. May 4 na elements upang mag-apply itong article na ito. First, there is a tumultuous affray as referred to in Article 251. Second, a participant or some participants thereof suffer serious physical injuries or physical injuries of a less serious nature. Dito sa second element, unlike in Article 251, where the victim ay kahit sino. Dito sa Article 252, ang victim po ay participant or participants, so hindi po kasama ang strangers. Pag slight physical injuries ang na-inflict, walang liability kasi inherit yon. Sa tumultuous affray, para expected yon. Sa tumultuous affray, so charge the experience. So kung may ganon, umalis ka agad or wag kang pupunta sa mga ganon. Third, a person responsible thereof cannot be identified. So hindi natin alam kung sino ang nag-inflict ng serious or less serious physical injuries. Fourth, all those who appear to have used violence upon the person of the offended party are known. Yung mga gumamit po ng dahas or violence sa victim, sila po ang liable dito sa crime na ito.
I'll be discuss Article 254, Discharge of Firearms. This article, it is committed by any person who shall shoot at another with any firearm. At may dalawang elements na pwedeng mag-apply dito sa article na ito. First, offender discharge a firearm against another person. Si offender daw ay magpapaputok ng baril against another person. Second, offender has no intention to kill the person. If there is intent to kill and the person is not die, the crime committed is attempted or frustrated murder or homicide. If there's no intent to kill but the person is died, the crime committed is homicide. As long as there is death, intent to kill is presumed. Paano mo malalaman kung merong intent to kill or wala? Depende yan sa case, kung paano ito tinutok yung baril at kung gaano ito kalayo. Kung tinutok naman ito sa may paanan, we can argue na wala tong intent to kill. Kasi kahit mabaril yung paa mo, hindi siya magkukos ng death. Purpose. The purpose of the offender is only to intimidate or threaten the dead party or any other undisclosed reason but without intent to kill. Ibig sabihin, ang layunin ng gumawa ng masama ay para lang manakot o manakot ng takot sa biktima, hindi para pumatay. Second, the purpose should not be compel the doing of an act or to prevent an act. Sabi naman dito, hindi ito para pilitin ng isang tao na gumawa ng isang bagay o pigilan siyang gumawa ng isang bagay. And the last, the purpose should not be to treated the commission of a wrong. Ibig sabihin, hindi rin ito para takutin ng isang tao gagawa siya ng masama. Article 255, Infanticide. Infanticide is the killing of any child who is less than 72 hours old or 3 days old, whether the killer is the parent, grandparent, or any relative of child or a stranger. Ang infanticide daw ay isang krimen na kung saan ito ay pagpatay ng sanggol na may edad na less than 72 hours or less than 3 days. Maaari siyang pinatay ng kanyang magulang, lolo't lola, o hindi naman kaya ang kanyang kamag-anak at kung sino paman. Elements. Number 1, a child was killed. Number 2, deceased child was less than 3 days old or less than 72 hours. Number 3, accused killed the said child. Ang infanticide daw ay regardless kung sino paman ang pumatay at kung sakaling pinatay ang sanggol na may edad sa sinabing less than 72 hours or less than 3 days ay siya ay maging liable for infanticide.
Intentional abortion. Article 256. It is committed by any person who shall intentionally cause an abortion. Abortion is the willful killing of the fetus in the uterus or the violent expulsion of the fetus from the maternal womb that results in the death of the fetus. There are two types of abortion, intentional abortion and unintentional abortion. Intentional abortion, the penalty of reclusion temporal if he shall use any violence upon the person of the pregnant woman. The penalty of prison mayor if, without using violence, he shall act without the consent of the woman, and the penalty of prison correctional in its medium and maximum periods if the woman shall have consented. Ways of committing intentional abortion: by using violence upon the person of the pregnant woman resulting the abortion. Number 2, without violence, by acting without violence, without the consent of the woman, by administering aborting drugs or beverages, without the consent of the pregnant woman. And last, by acting without violence, with the consent of the pregnant woman, that is, by administering aborting drugs or beverage to a pregnant woman, this time with her consent. Unintentional abortion. Article 257. It is committed by any person who shall cause an abortion by violence but unintentionally. Unintentionally abortion, the penalty of prison correctional in its minimum and medium period shall be imposed upon any person who shall cause an abortion by violence but unintentionally. Committing an intentional abortion only one way, and that is by exerting physical violence on pregnant woman, and in result thereof an intentional abortion was suffered. Elements: there is a pregnant woman. Number 2, violence is used upon such pregnant woman without intending an abortion. Number 3, violence is intentionally exerted, and as result of the violence exerted, the fetus dies either in the womb or after having been expelled therefrom. Example, question: What if there were two college students in a relationship, Maria and Pedro? Maria became pregnant and Pedro said, I am not ready. We are still so young. Then Maria said, what can we do? I am already pregnant. And so in order to conceal the dishonor of Maria, they both decided to abort the fetus. What Pedro did was he went to the sidewalks of Quiapo and bought their aborting drinks and he administered the same to Maria and thereafter drink the aborting drink and the fetus died. What crimes are committed? Crimes committed as the Pedro is concerned, the crime committed is intentional aborting under Article 256. So far, as the said female student is concerned, the crime committed is also an intentional aborting but it is under Article 258. Abortion practiced by the woman herself or by her parents. So both of them are liable for intentional abortion. Another question. What if despite drinking the aborting drink, the fetus survived? There is a crime of frustrated abortion. Maria has already taken the said abortive drink. She has already performed all the acts necessary to consume. The crime of abortion did not result because of causes independent of their will.
Article 258 of Revised Penal Code of the Philippines. Article 258 Abortion practiced by the woman herself or by her parents. The penalty of prison correctional in its medium and maximum periods shall be imposed upon a woman who shall practice abortion upon herself or shall consent that any other person should do so. Any woman who shall commit this offense to conceal her dishonor shall suffer the penalty of prison correctional in its minimum and medium period. So, ang sinasabi dito sa Article 258 ay ang pagpapalaglag ay ginawa ng babae sa kanyang sarili o may pahintulot niya o ginawa ng iba na may pahintulot niya. Kadalasan upang itago ang kahihiyan ng mga magulang na nagpapalaglag na may pahintulot ng babae upang itago ang kanyang kahihiyan ay pinaparusahan din. So, ano nga ba ang parusa nito? So, ang parusa nito ay prison correctional. Pagkakabilanggo sa correctional sa gitna at pinakamataas na panahon. Ito ay nangangahulugang 2 taon, 4 na buwan, at 1 araw hanggang 6 na taon na pagkakabilanggo. Article 259 of Revised Penal Code of the Philippines deal with the portion and practice by a physician or midwife and the dispensing of abortives. Article 259. Abortion practiced by a physician or midwife and dispensing of abortives. The penalties provided in Article 256 shall be imposed in its maximum period respectively upon any physician or midwife who, taking advantage of their scientific knowledge or skill, shall cause an abortion or assist in causing the same. So, ano nga ba yung Article 256 na sinasabi dito. Ang Article 256 ay mayroong tatlo. Reclusion temporal. Kung may ginamit na karahasan laban sa buntis, ito ay nangangahulog ang 12 taon at 1 araw hanggang 20 taon na pagkakabilanggo. Pangalawa, prison mayor. Kung ang gawa ay ginawa ng walang karahasan ngunit nang walang pahintulot ng babae, ito ay nangangahulog ang 6 na taon at 1 araw hanggang 12 taon na pagkakabilanggo. Prison correctional. Kung ang babae ay pumayag sa pagpapalaglag, ito ay nangangahulog ang 2 taon, 4 na buwan at 1 araw hanggang 6 na taon na pagkakabilanggo.